Hey there, Tim Knight, and what we're going to do today is a little unusual. In fact, I've never done a video like this before, which is basically walking you through how I go through charts and how I make decisions based on those charts. And I'll start by saying that there's all kinds of different charting platforms out there. Some brokerages have their own platforms. There's some independent platforms. For myself, I've created my own platform, which some people use. But it's sort of like if this video is about how I drive my car. If you have a Ford or a Chevrolet or a Tesla or a Ferrari or whatever, the steering wheel, the pedals, it's all the same. It's the concepts I want to try to get across. So even if this isn't the platform you use, the notions I'm trying to get across are the same. And this is the most familiar to me, so it'll make the most sense for me to use this as the basis for this explanation. And the other thing that's kind of unusual is that I do a lot of things. My whole life kind of revolves around charts. I trade 5 different portfolios. I run my Slope of Hope website, which is very chart-based. I do 2 shows a day on tastylive. I make videos like this, and I tweet charts, on and on and on. So I'm kind of all about charts. And so for your purposes, you're probably not doing all that stuff. You're probably more focused on using charts to make good trading decisions. And that's what I'd like to try to help out with. Not so much in terms of patterns and techniques, but really the overall way of organizing things. So let's walk through it some. Where we begin is where I really began years ago when I created my platform, which is watch lists. I'm an order freak. I like things neat. I like things organized. I like things to be fashioned in such a way that it makes sense to me. And in the mayhem of a trading day, I don't need any more confusion. And so I have a lot of watch lists. They happen to be on the side of the screen in my platform, and I've labeled them in sensible ways. I often cringe if I see people calling like watch list 1 or my watch list or something like that. It's meaningless. For my own purposes, I keep names like, bear pen, things where I'm keeping short ideas, bullpen, which is in my case a lot smaller, long ideas, ETF, and so on and so forth. There's about 20 different watch lists here. The names aren't important. The constitution of them isn't important. It's just the idea that I'm keeping things organized and up to date. As new stocks come along, like SpaceX goes public, I'll add that to an appropriate list. Sometimes stocks get delisted. Sometimes I might move something from, say, my core list, which is just sort of a general purpose list, up to my bear pen if I decide that it's worth watching. And so kind of job 1, I think, is keeping those symbols organized. Just like, if you're keeping tax forms or family records, you don't put them all in a huge paper box. You put them in folders and you keep them organized as necessary. The second element, as you might guess, is that I have a lot of drawn objects on my charts. And as I thumb through these, you can see they're all over the place, and these aren't automatic. These are the product of weeks, months, sometimes even years of effort, because over the course of time, I will see patterns, I will see trend lines, Fibonacci's, sometimes gaps, things like that. And I augment the charts with these drawn objects so that they make sense to me, because without them, they look like this. They just look like a raw price graph, which to me is not nearly as useful. I got to have these drawn objects, and note that it's not littered with, sometimes you'll see charts that are just a mess. Looks like somebody threw spaghetti on the floor. These aren't meant to dazzle. These aren't meant to impress. They're meant to, in the most simplistic way possible, express where is support, where is resistance, where are there points of failure, where are there points of breakout, that kind of thing. So taking the time, and of course when you're just starting, it'll take a lot more time because you start with nothing. But over the course of time, you build out these drawn augmentations, as I describe them, these ways of supplementing your charts with items that will make it easier for you to interpret what's going on and what you think is going to happen next. In my own case, I hardly ever use indicators. You'll hardly ever see me using even something simple like moving averages. and certainly not things like RSI and stochastics and MACD and the ultimate oscillator and things like that. It's just, it's not my bag. I like simple, classic Edwards and McGee, which is the classic volume from the 30s about technical analysis. That's really what I'm all about. I would also say that even though I closely follow ETFs in terms of market direction and trading ideas, what I don't do is take what you might call a top-down approach, which is I think that the market in general is going to do this, and let me dig down into the sectors, and now let me dig down to the individual stocks. It's just the opposite direction. What I'll do is I'll look on any given day at as many as 500 or 600 charts and tease out on an individual chart basis what looks like a good opportunity. And here again, as I'm just kind of randomly thumbing through these, you can see that on the one hand, they're nicely supplemented with drawn objects to make it more clear what I think is going on. But they're not just littered with them. So for example, as I'm recording this video, just minutes ago, I decided to short XLE, which is an energy ETF. Now, crude oil happens to be blasting higher right now, so it seems a little crazy to short something to do with energy. But I looked at XLE and I saw that there's an important price gap right here, like so. And we got quite close to it today. And so I decided for myself that it was time to enter a short on this with a stop just above that gap and see what happens next. So far, it's showing a profit. And if we descend, and especially if we crack below that, great. But the idea here is that by having these neatly organized groups, I can really zoom in and have opportunities jump out at me with respect to here's what looks like a good risk reward ratio. And so you may love technical indicators. That's fine. Like I said, this video isn't about techniques. It's just about order. Okay. Another very, very important thing is freshness, keeping things up to date. To 1 second after I have a trade entered, it moves from one list to the other. So at any moment, like I can see here, these are all my shorts in this portfolio. There's 21 of them. Here are all the shorts in this portfolio. There's 18 of them. Here are the 4 underlying equities for the options trades that I've got, which are just long put positions. And so not only is the list up to date, but so are the stop losses. So as I go through here, so like on a day like this, things are going my way. I've got hours to like do some housekeeping, so to speak. I'll simply go through my charts one by one. And in my case, see those dashed red lines, those represent stop loss levels for me. And so I'll go in and I'll, if necessary, update the stop loss levels to take into account what's going on with the market. And in some cases, I may move that up or down to accommodate what's going on with the market, and likewise update that in my for my broker. So in sum here, there are kind of 4 steps. One is the analysis, which is the drawn objects, the examination, figuring out support and resistance, failures, and so forth. The next is making a decision, like I'm going to short XLE, this many shares with this stop loss price. Getting the trade done, which has nothing to do with this. It's just on a separate platform. And then as necessary, moving things in the watch list to represent reality. And it's time consuming. Presently, I have, if memory serves, I've got like 40 different short positions going on. And that might seem overwhelming, but by being organized, by having the drawings done and they stick in place, by keeping things fresh, by keeping things up to date, you can keep your sanity. Now, not a lot of people run around shorting 40 different items, but even if you have 2 positions or something like that, this kind of organization is critical. And keeping things fresh and keeping those stop losses in place is the responsible thing to do. So that's kind of how I do things in my world. Hopefully this will give you an idea or 2 about what might be helpful in your own organizing of your charting life. Thanks.